Paper hands, old soul, man, as for me, that's blasphemy, a catastrophe. I accumulator made it back massively. We stack sats in fat bags like massive backpacks, relaxing, that's that, it has to be. A couple racks, flip that, in fact, smashing, grab, attack, hurt the bulls, he's back. As for me, I never left. We up and I'm feeling like a new me. Stacking new sets, some new E.
GM and welcome back to the channel. In this one we're taking a look at everything Ellio Trades here in the gaming sector. So we have a variety of projects from Neo Tokyo to Impostors to Superverse, and there have been quite a few updates as of late. So just going to bring you up to speed with what I've been seeing, what's been coming across my radar, how I'm positioned in this, and some interesting details. So if you do enjoy this one, make sure you do subscribe to the channel for more, and let's jump in. So we'll start here with the BYTES chart, which is a stairways to heaven, as you can see. But pretty much what we can see from this is that only recently we've had some major moves due to the fact there's been some changes implemented and the utility around BYTES has changed. So you haven't absolutely missed a real sitter unless you are very close to this thing, but it is starting to take off at this point. Do I know if the price is going to continue ripping up in this fashion? Absolutely not, but we'll go through the tokenomics, etc. in this vid. So BYTES is the kind of access key to the Launchpad service of Neo Tokyo. So you do need to hold a Neo Tokyo NFT, plus you then need to stake BYTES with their VC arm to actually get access into the launchpads. I do think these launchpads will be very good indeed because they are hand-picked games, hand-picked investments by the VC arm themselves, headed up by none other than Ellio and obviously Becker as well. So unlike what we see with other launchpad providers, they will list absolutely anything because they are very much incentivized to take the money that is on offer. But I do think we will have the upper echelon of games coming through here. So these are the recent updates to Neo Tokyo's BYTES. And so essentially what they say, this is going to be an exclusive crypto gaming deal flow from Ellio and Becker, using their resources, their industry connections to bring us the best in the biz. Second sentence here, some of these deals are completely private and not available with any other VCs or funds. So as I say, this is going to be quite a special deal flow to get involved with. And the way you get in here with this is through the access listed here. So you must first and foremost have a Neo Tokyo citizen, either an S1 or an S2. I'll show you those two in just a moment, but you do have to have an NFT as a minimum to get involved with this, to get involved with the best deal flow in crypto gaming, which, if you believe in the thesis, of course, people are aping in because they can see the kind of outlook for crypto gaming. And if you are a believer, it makes a lot of sense to be involved with this in some capacity. When you hold the actual Neo Tokyo NFT, you are given the option to stake your citizen. So this means, of course, drying up the supply of liquid Neo Tokyos on the market. And if you have not staked, you have to actually contribute more BYTES with the actual VC fund. So the VC fund has its own BYTES staking portal where you have to stake the BYTES into for the access, again, drying up the supply of the BYTES token as well. And so for non-stakers of the NFTs, 200 BYTES must be contributed, and for stakers of the NFTs, 150 BYTES. So we can already see here a lot of tokens will be utilized in this manner, and also the NFTs as well. So utility for both of them coming directly through this launchpad. Then we can see the further structure here. So there'll be 3 rounds potentially, depending if the actual allocations are sold out. Maybe it won't get as far as round 3. But round 1 will allow for people to opt to burn some BYTES for a guaranteed allocation into the launchpad. So maybe an absolute banger of a game is coming through, well hyped and touted. A lot of people probably at some point are going to want to burn those BYTES to get that guaranteed allocation, as they could be worried, oh no, everyone's going to ape into this one. I need to get some form of allocation and I don't want to be missing out, so I'll burn some BYTES here. The second round is for citizens, either elite tier, S1s or S2s. So within S1s, you could have the elite tier, which is the most sought after. You have to look through all the traits, etc. on the actual NFT collection on OpenSea or through neotokyo.profiles. I'll show you the webpage of that in just a sec, but you'd have to find an elite one. They are very, very expensive now though. S1 is anything from the original collection. There's like 2,500 of them, and S2s are the outer citizens, which have a lower price tag. And then there could be a potential third round, first come, first serve, if there is allocation left, but I doubt there will be because I think there's going to be so much demand in rounds 1 and rounds 2. So based on the various traits and the type of NFT you have and some of the multiplying factors like the amount of time you've staked your NFT for and also the amount of bytes you've staked, there's a lot going into play here for your max USDC allocations. So you can see from the charts in this, and I'll obviously leave this document down below for you guys to have a look through yourself. There's a lot of calculations into how this one works out. But you can see from some of these base investments here. So they've just taken a ticket size of 500K as a seed round investment split between everyone through this VC arm. It's going to be called Based VC, I believe. And if we just scroll down here, you can see all the various multipliers. You do get a booster based on the rarity of your NFT. So again, as the more rare NFTs get bid up, they become too expensive. This will obviously have a kind of rising tide lifts all ships for the lower ranked NFTs as well. The season 2 NFTs as well also have these various low, medium, high, very high, top tier boosters associated to traits, and then a booster associated to said traits. And then the duration of bytes that you've actually time locked will also factor into the booster as well. So you can actually do this for a low amount of time, just 30 days, so 1 month, all the way up to 1 or even 2 years there for the max booster on that. So as you can see, a lot of this plays into the fact that over time we should get more and more NFTs staked, more and more bytes staked, and so it is programmed for scarcity to occur. So as an example down here, they have this. So on a 500K investment tier, the S1 Elites baseline kind of boosters on here, 5K would be max allocation. For the S1 Citizens, we'll take the baseline again, around 3K in allocation, and for the S2s, around $500 in allocation. So quite a big jump up between these various S2s and S1s, but still I do think that even $500 at seed round for the best projects in the business is going to be a whole lot more than what you'll get on the likes of Seedify, etc. as the bull market progresses. So if you follow along with @NT Launchpad, so this is kind of the VC arm, I do think it's going to be called Based VC, reading through the documentation, but we will see if that rebrand occurs. It says, Grand Rising Neo Tokyo, it's time to usher in a new era for Neo Tokyo citizens. We're pleased to partner with Ellio and Becca to bring the best deal flow to Neo Tokyo. So today there is going to be an announcement of this first major project launching through the Launchpad, and so I think we could see some pumpage across the board here, and this will obviously be a key driver for price, for access, for bytes, NFTs, and everything else if this one really does bang. So do check out all the stuff within this, follow them along if you are interested and not currently allocated to this. Of course I am allocated to this. I have an NFT, I have some bytes staked, we're good to go, and this is one of the main drivers in the crypto gaming market in my opinion. Now factoring in the second part here, staking your Neo Tokyo NFT plus then staking some bytes as well. So this is on a slightly different portal to the Neo Tokyo kind of VC arm stuff. That is just to one side. The Launchpad is on its own, kind of siloed, but for the rest, with just a NFT plus some bytes staked, you can get a daily yield. And as we saw earlier, the price point of bytes ticking up nicely here, it could be some very good passive income, especially if this does continue to go up a lot higher and people allocate to this to get exposure to this ecosystem overall, which could well happen. 48 mil market cap for this thing. Yes, it is inflationary. Show me a game that is not inflationary, however. But what you can see is they're trying to combat things over time. So the daily yields should tick down every 90 days. That is part and parcel of the tokenomics flow in here. But if we move on to this, what you can see from this is the staking tracker. So this is a calculator they've put out. So what we have here is a breakdown of the estimated bytes emissions per day. So if you've got a season 1 citizen, the owner typically is getting around 0.44 of a byte per day. So that is, just for argument's sake, say it's $20 per byte, somewhere around $9 per day. There is also a split to the DAO. So the DAO is also accruing bytes as well. Potentially in the future, what we see is there's going to be votes to burn more bytes. There's a lot that can be done with this over time. You've got to think a few steps ahead at what can happen with all these DAO tokens that are coming in here. The DAO will be fat with bytes. S2's getting around 0.07 per day. So not a huge passive income source that there, but you know, better than nothing. And what we can currently see from this, S1 citizens, 72% are already staked. So the majority of this NFT collection is staked. Most people have opted for 1 year plus. And as more NFTs get staked, the daily emissions do go up. So we got 72% staked. So we're on this kind of tier here, 3,000 bytes per day going towards all those S1s that are being staked. So 3,000 BYTES tokens in this pool going to all the S1s each and every day. So you can get your cut of that by obviously staking yours. And once this does go up again, so once we get to an 80% of the NFTs actually allocated to staking, this would go up to 3,500 per day in emissions. S2s, you can see a lower percentage, only 46% currently staked. So 375 BYTES per day emitted to these guys. And there's also a community staking incentive overall, as you can see down here. Currently, over 50% of all BYTES are staked, and so BYTES are yielding more BYTES in this kind of inflationary manner. So if you stake the BYTES token, you're in with that pool of 6,000, obviously proportionally shared out between the stakers over there, so 6,000 per day. So we're looking at somewhere over 9,000 BYTES hitting the market each day, but as we can see, a lot of them are being staked again, probably people compounding, but also utilizing them within the VC arm and that staking portal. So again, locking them up. And thirdly, we're going to see BYTES getting burned for guaranteed allocations. Now, in terms of the news flow on this, there have been so many notable investors in the gaming space and project owners flock into Neo Tokyo over the last week. It's been absolutely crazy. The man on screen here is Yatsu. He joined just last week as part of Neo Tokyo, bought himself one of these off the open market, and is now part of the Neo Tokyo Citadel. We've also seen members from Illuvium and other big games also aping as of late. And I'm pretty sure what we're going to see is any special access to these big games, and the owners who have joined the club are going to be offering first dibs on things to members of Neo Tokyo. We've just seen that with PYR, which is Vulcan Forge, doing their node sale and allowing investors in on that node sale. That is something that the general public is not going to get that kind of golden ticket almost allocation into. And so I think there's going to be huge value driven by all these creators and these team members into Neo Tokyo. So you can see how this is starting to shape up. It really is a very epic club to be involved with. S1 citizens here, current floor price is 16 ETH, or around 33,000 US. We can see over the last 30 days been ticking on up nicely. A major wealth effect within this ecosystem. Here's the S2s, so these outer citizens, current price 2.9 ETH, almost 6,000 bucks there, market cap 18 mil. And over the last 30 days, that is what the chart looks like for this. They were under an ETH this time last month. NeoTokyo.codes is the area for citizen banking. So this is where you would come to stake your NFTs and stake your BYTES. Connect your account using your wallet. Please be using a ledger. And this is where you would place your NFTs. So it would have this showing your owned NFTs. You then have to approve a transaction and stake them, and also select for the duration you wish to stake the NFT for. Once you've done that and you have staked NFTs, you can then stake some BYTES. That would require you to obviously buy some BYTES tradable on Uniswap. And then the rarity of your NFT combined with the amount of BYTES that you then stake in this portal will give you those daily emissions of BYTES. For the VC arm, it is a different portal again. So you do want to be following along with the Twitter handle at NT Launchpad and following this web address in here. Make sure you don't get scammed and click any dodgy links. Always go to the officials, double check, as there are tons of scams out there right now. And honestly, I don't even feel comfortable placing links in any of my videos anymore because the amount of scams are rife right now. So be very, very careful when starting out here. So overall, Neo Tokyo can get you involved if you hold the right things with the best investment opportunities in crypto gaming, in my opinion, and also these rewards in the BYTES token, which is going up like a skyscraper as well. It just makes a lot of sense to be allocated into this. In my opinion, not financial advice. These are my bags as well. I'm shilling here. Next up, though, on Ellio's radar, we have Superverse. So this one's been really interesting in terms of the price action, as it has gone on a bit of a run here, all the way up to almost 50 cents just over the weekend. Bit of a correction here, but as you can see, that'll be quite healthy in terms of pulling back maybe into like 30 cents or something because it's gone up so fast, so quickly. There's been a lot of alpha shared online so far. We jump into the Superverse DAO Twitter profile here, and the pinned comment, just wait, this isn't even my final form. A lot has been going on. The ultimate super staking tutorial. There's a cool video here, about 40 minutes if you've got time for it, on their Twitter account. So go and watch that. We've just had the futures listing on Binance as well. So I do think something is really cooking here, because to have futures listed, they're probably pulling some strings in the background and letting Binance in on the alpha. So if you do want to go leverage long or short up to 50x, you can do on Binance there. Related to Super Farm, the main game from Ellio is going to be Impostors, and this is currently trading at 0.65 in ETH. Over the weekend, what we saw was a huge run up here to 0.85 and some over 1, even up to 2 ETH sales of this NFT collection. So the base collection here is around 10,400 NFTs, I believe it is. So these are the Genesis NFT collection for the game. The game is not in open beta as of yet, but it will be at some point in the not too distant future. And if you do follow along with Impostors, they did an update from their kind of 3D into 2D assets here. Just roll through some of the images. So that was the original, that is the new collection. The exact same NFT, but it has had a facelift. So they've been investing in the background here. But for the major alpha, you need to listen to this. Recorded on November 24th, Impostors Radio, Ellio jumps in. I would suggest maybe you can get away with fast forwarding this to about the 30 minutes in mark, and then listening from there, a load of alpha gets dropped. I mean, a lot. If you were to have listened to this live or even within like 1 or 2 days, you could have picked up on things prior to the recent markup in the valuations here. Impostors game also has an in-game currency called Blood, which is mentioned within this, and Ellio is almost like trying to warn people off aping into this because they haven't released the updated tokenomics and stuff. And this is currently on pause in terms of this was an inflationary token that you could stake your Impostors Genesis to, and then you would get these blood emissions. They paused that because of the bear market, and they're just revamping everything. But as we know, people are going to speculate on these things, and this is the cheapest in terms of total market cap of all of the Ellio Trades umbrella here, and volume has started to flow into the blood token. Whether or not you should be buying this or not, I have no idea, but I have bought a little bit, and we can see the FDV on it is around 9 mil. And if you've seen the kind of market caps of games that have come out and been released, the numbers just don't make a lot of sense. To be honest with you, gaming market caps are an absolute meme, and the value is in the eye of the beholder, and you can't really do sensible tokenomics analysis on games. It just doesn't work out. If you were to jump into the Etherscan on this bad boy, you will see the majority of tokens have either been burned or are in the treasury wallet that would be earmarked for emissions. So it's like less than 50% of the max supply currently circulating. I think it's around 80 million tokens. So the actual circulating market cap of this thing is probably around $4 million. And if you're backing Ellio and you think we could get this kind of price action that we've seen with some of these collections, that we've seen with some of these price points of the tokens, of course, not financial advice. Again, you would be buying my bags, but I do think, again, there's some good plays to be made within this sector. Now, in terms of that Impostors Radio episode, they did announce this guy. I think they used the term product manager or something along those lines. Essentially, Rick Ellis here, who has over 10 years of experience with Steam. He's also helped develop a few Web3 games as of late. Check him out on LinkedIn here. This guy has stacks of experience. They've recently headhunted him and hired him. So Ellio is actually going to have an interview with Rick, probably coming out this week on the channel. Again, could be a bit of alpha around Impostors Genesis Aliens. Maybe that's why people have marked up the price over the weekend. Could be a bit of alpha for Blood, the in-game cryptocurrency. And it also could serve as alpha for the Superverse as well, as this is the big headline game coming from Super. Essentially, what I picked up was that Rick will now be in charge of releasing this game, deciding when we should pull the trigger, and the kind of go-to-market strategy behind this. So what they've done, in my mind, is headhunted the best in the biz. They've gone for someone with stacks of experience, and they want this game to be an absolute banger. And what I love about Impostors is the kind of social media clippability, if that is a word, of the actual game. It would be very easy to stream it and have amazing content from the streams because it is so much fun. So in my mind, the Impostors game is probably going to do very well once this thing does go live. So there we have it, a bit of an overview of the umbrella of Ellio Trades here with all his various projects. I've made quite a lot of allocation into this, as I think you have one of the most influential creators in crypto, and of course then the subset of crypto gaming here with Ellio, Plus, he has Alex Becker also having his back on this and pumping the damn bags. Kind of stuff you don't want to fade. Looks like all their products are dope and they are starting to catch significant bid. And as we have the wealth effect from one project spilling over into the other, I think this just has a continual positive flywheel approach and number go up technology. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Subscribe if you're new. None of this is financial advice. I am literally shilling you my bags. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.